Hey guys, I know I probably lost most of you, but I am super excited. If you did stay tuned, thank you for joining me again and following up on these most common questions that I'm getting right now in real estate. So let's dive back in. The first one has to do with student loans and how that can affect your mortgage. So, student loans actually fall into your debt to income ratio and what your payment on your student loans is based based on per month basis and what your gross monthly income is. So if you are making $60,000 a year, you're making $5,000 gross per month, then that is what you use for your income. Now, if you are paying, if you don't necessarily disclose what you're paying to the lender on your student loans, or you have deferred your student loans for a certain amount of time, then the lender, what they need to do is they look at the loan amount, and they usually multiply it from anywhere from 1 to 5% and then divide that by 12. So if you have $100,000 loan, then they multiply that by 1%, then you get $1,000, and then you divide that by 12, and that ends up being what they anticipate your monthly payment going to be. But usually it's something a little bit higher, but in the situation of physicians loans, that's usually they do use about 1% or so. So it just kind of depends on that. Physicians loans do take into account that you went to graduate schooling for something that is likely going to make a lot of money for that person. So, and your income is likely going to increase over time. So they do take into account those items. And so usually the student loans are discounted a little bit more in the physician, veterinarian, or dentistry type of situation. So, just to be aware of that. But if you have student loans, then you should still talk to a lender, because a lot of times lenders can give you suggestions on how to decrease your debt to income ratio and or uh, increase your income side of things to make your approval easier. And it also helps with your interest rate and what type of loan you can have. So in a debt to income ratio, usually in a conventional type loan, you can get anywhere from 33. You want your debt to income ratio to be anywhere from 33 to 36%. If you have an FHA loan, then you can be up to 43 to 45%. So just be aware of that you don't want your debt to income ratio to be too much, but that has to do with your automobile, like basically those installment type of loans that you're making, or those installment type of loan payments that you are making, like student loans, auto payments, credit card payments, that sort of thing. Not so much on the utilities and rent payments that you're making. If you're planning on moving, they really won't count that. But um, utilities and groceries and stuff like that, that is not considered. Those type of expenses are not taken into account in that situation. That's what that other 55% of your income is going towards. So just be aware of that. Then the next thing is, and sorry, your debt to income ratio also would include your mortgage payment as well. So they want your mortgage payment plus all those other installments to be only anywhere from 33 to 45% of your monthly income. Recently, that has changed a little bit in a lot of people that have, due to inflation, their payments have increased and their debt to income ratio has increased. But so it makes it a little bit harder to get qualified. And so just be aware of that. So paying down your credit card balances, there is actually a better use of your income probably right now than paying down your student loans, because that's usually a fixed rate versus the credit card payments, which can fluctuate based on the prime rate and based on what the rate that the Fed puts out and everything. So hopefully that's very helpful for you guys, but that's usually what you want to pay down in the first place. Now, the next couple of ones I'm getting questions on have to do with Biden's $25,000 down payment toward Equity Act and the first time home buyer tax credit. So, or for first time home buyer act. So both of these are actually still bills in the Congress, so they have not passed. Now, the $15,000 tax credit is the First Time Homebuyer Act, and that is a one-time tax credit to first-time homebuyers. And that would be very helpful to a lot of people. It just has not been passed yet, so just be aware of that. Now, the other one, the $25,000 down payment or toward Equity Act, that particular bill has not passed either, but there are specific things that are going to be required for you to actually qualify for that particular tax or that particular bill if you do pass. So right now, these are the requirements of that bill. So just trying to make y'all aware of it. So number one is you have to be a first-time home buyer. Number two is that you have to make low to moderate income consistent with the area. So what the median income is. You have to buy a home that is your primary residence. You have to use a government-backed mortgage like Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. So you have to make sure that you qualify for one of those. And then finally, you have to be a first-generation home buyer. So your parents or your legal guardians could not have owned a home prior to you buying a home. And then your parents or legal guardians, if they did own a home, if they defaulted on it and lost their home in a foreclosure, then you still qualify. And or if you lived in the foster care system during your lifetime. So those are all the ways that you need to qualify. Now there will be steps to also take if you do pass these entry-level items or requirements, then they will ask you to do some courses to understand home ownership, to understand what your costs might be and how to take care of a home and along those certain lines. So they're going to make sure that you know what you're getting into as well before you can even buy a home. So those are helpful for you to understand the process as well. So those two acts are still technically bills. So just so that y'all are aware of that, because I have gotten a lot of questions on how to be able to apply for that. And technically you cannot apply yet. The last one, is there a housing shortage? And let me bring myself back up. I do not see a housing shortage necessarily here in the Houston area. No, sorry. I don't see an inventory shortage. Now, overall, we do have a housing shortage in that, one, we have an affordability shortage. So there's a lot of people looking for homes in a certain price range that just aren't there anymore. Those homes aren't there. And there's quite a few homes that are required that you be in HUD or that you qualify under the HUD or the Houston Land Bank program to even get those particular new construction homes. And there are a lot of people that fall just above the income range for those Houston Land Bank homes, but they don't necessarily have all the funds and all the ability to pay much more than $200,000, and they need help. They need down payment assistance and everything else. So Texas does have down payment assistance. Lenders that work with down payment assistance can also help you with that. And then you can always negotiate sellers' concessions. The one problem there is that in these affordable pricings right now, there are multiple offers, and it's very hard to win in a bidding war if you need to ask for sellers' concessions. So that's where what I want to say is there is an affordability shortage right now. And the secondary item is that, yes, in Houston, we have seen an uptick in inventory, but it is very specific to certain areas. So there's a lot of stuff that is still that isn't sitting on the market, that is flying off the market, that's getting multiple offers and people wanting to move in specific areas, that you may have to go above asking price still, even today. So I want y'all to be prepared for that, even though we are saying that, yes, Houston is back to pre-pandemic inventory levels. That is not for everywhere in the overall Houston area. And there are certain places where that houses are more desirable still, and demand is higher. Let's just say that. So demand is higher, not more desirable, but demand is higher in those certain price brackets or those certain areas. So you have to be ready for multiple offers. But overall, there is a housing shortage in that demand does outweigh supply in the new construction arena and everything. So they've been behind several years. So now with interest rates having gone up, they are catching up a little bit. They are still offering incentives with new construction. So it's nice to go check those out, and you don't necessarily have to go into a multiple offer situation in that instance. So that's always a nice feature to have. But I just wanted to say, like, here in Houston, technically, while there isn't a shortage, there are certain areas that are still considered highly sought after. And so you do have to be prepared for multiple offers. I hope you guys found this information helpful. These are all questions I'm getting right now in April of 2023, when interest rates are still above 6% and that people are still looking and they're still wanting to buy. So hope to see y'all soon. If y'all have any questions directly for me, please reach out to info@bestlifetexas.com or give me a call at 281-222-8259. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.